Why Peter looks sad?
Brian, Peter invent wheel. Peter show wheel to people in town, but no one want wheel. Everyone excited about trapezoid. No one buy wheel.
Peter, you invent wheel? That big breakthrough. This maybe make you millionaire.
Then how come no one buy Peter wheel?
Maybe sales pitch not good enough. Brian, help. Okay, sell wheel, just like practice.
Not sure can do it.
You so money, don't know it.
Hi, meet Peter. Tired walking every place? Need something make you go? Peter wheel make you go. Maybe Joe want try wheel on chair.
For last time, Joe no want.
Brian, Peter fail again.
Not so fast. Brian have other idea.
Anyone buy wheel, get dead bird.
Not working. Try drastic measure.
Brian, what hell?
Hot lady next to wheel. Make me want wheel. Maybe if me buy wheel, me get pretty lady too. I buy wheel.
People want Peter wheel thanks to sexy wife. Tonight, you and me party like it's 9.
Damn all! What deuce? Victory's doings.
There have been many.
But nonetheless, it's given them that push, and now it's taken them again, just that additional push again, just so they can understand just how to dial it up, just that little bit, because it helps you as the host, as the facilitator, as the coach, as the mentor. It doesn't matter what role you're doing. But I'm not frightened of learning. I'm not frightened of clicking a button and going, what does that do? Some people are, they're frightened to death, and especially to do it live in a session. What's the worst that can happen? Let's give it a go. Some people really struggle with that. And I think what I bring to them is to give them that confidence to press that button, because what's the worst that can happen?
Well, yeah. I could come up with some amusing answers for that, but I won't.
Thank you.
Yeah. So then the question for you, because obviously you've got to go shortly, the question is...
I'm all right, about 25 past, so I'm okay.
Yeah, cool. So how do you measure successful outcomes for your online?
Great question. So one of the other things that I use, and I don't necessarily use it for the digital learning, but nonetheless, there's other outcomes there. I use some psychometrics for the coaching course itself, which is, we're just about to start to publish actually some of the, it's called distance travelled reports. So we get individuals to complete a psychometric before they join the course and then after. And then of course we can then see the difference between the two over that 4 to 5 month period, for instance. We then get a distance travelled report. We can then look at the data. We can then also start to attribute the change to certain interventions. And that's the biggest key with coaching. How do you prove coaching has been successful? Because it's always been that golden nugget, hasn't it? Where's my ROI for the HR decision maker, for instance, that's going to pay the, that's going to pay the invoice at the end of the day? What am I going to see as a difference? So if we're talking coaching, that's how I do it with coaching. How we then do it with online, let's just talk now online just for a second. We get the individuals to do a teach back initially, and then 3 months after the course, we get them to then give us some more feedback around.
What's
so they do So a teach back is getting them to physically deliver a session in front of us, so they can then gain feedback from us and from their peers from the group. Not only does that embed the learning for the individual, but it also embeds the learning for the peers, giving the feedback, because they're then not only watching and listening, they're then going to then implement some of those changes that those themselves have actually spotted. So it's a really lovely way of getting learning transfer in place.
Yeah.
And then after the 3 months, what we tend to do is we get them to complete a self-assessment. So it is a self-assessment. It's not a psychometric. It's a self-assessment around their own delivery style. And we get them to complete it again after 3 months. Once they've had a chance to have a go in the real world, balls things up for want of another word, etc. And then come back and really start to benchmark. And I had a lady yesterday from the EMCC. She's quite senior in the EMCC. I've just done some training with her. And she came back to me only yesterday and said, Sam, I cannot believe the difference that 9 hours with you teaching me on how to deliver online sessions and to design them has made. She said, I cannot thank you enough. And I get that all the time, because it just takes people from good to great. And sometimes it's not a massive switch.
No, in fact, I've got the book Good to Great and the 8th in my pile to read. So
All right.
finally, fantastic, fantastic. So what we're saying then is that there is a percentage of people that feel pain from their circumstances, but I think it comes back to something Samantha said when she was with us, that people don't know what they don't know. So how, as coaches, as business development coaches, as networking superstars, how do you get people to appreciate that? Because people don't like being told what to do. Yeah, even when we tell ourselves what to do, we don't do it. That's the reason why when you go, well, I've got to go on a diet, I've got to stop smoking, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do the other. Typically people fail at a pretty standardly high rate. So we don't respond well to being told what to do. How do you bridge that, Victoria?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, Jonathan? I was distracted by
Yeah, no.
which is a typical brain. sorry.
That's
I really
fine.
apologise. Just
Yeah.
edit that bit out.
I know. I'm going to leave it in because it's more funny. So
Neurodiversion in action.
yes,
Sorry, what was that?
exactly. So I think I've forgotten the question myself now. So we've got the situation where people don't know what they don't know. How do you bridge someone who, because so we all can see people and we see potential that they don't see in themselves. More than 20 years ago, the tagline to my email was unlocking the potential within. And I didn't even know how my brain worked at the time, but I saw this potential. How do you bridge the gap between not knowing what they don't know and knowing that they might want to speak to you?
Wow. Okay. How do we bridge the gap? Well, if we take it to the beginning, as you know, and you agree with me, when you're a kid, you've got no fear, right? We have it knocked out of us by society, right? And I mean, I know some really, really talented people even now to this day who are holding themselves back because of confidence, and it's all been pumped into them as a child. It's been knocked into them as a child. So people like Gabrielle are so needed in this world to help these people, but I don't know. I'm stuck for an answer. I mean, I'm just thinking. I think I don't want to give the wrong thing here, but it's just such a complex subject, and I could talk about it for hours. But Gabrielle, over to you, darling. You help me out here, please.
This is an easy one for me, so I can.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
So with my clients, this is easy for me. I do this every day. So I use the vision process. So I create a vision. So they create their own vision. So I say to them, what would life look like without this problem? What would you like life to look like? Then we go through, and I don't do it as simple as that. Then we go through a whole vision process and they tell me. So I don't tell them ever. They tell me. And then we work from that vision. And I always start with that. And all the top business people out there, athletes, all these people work with a vision process. All the people that succeed in life have a vision before they start. And this is not manifesting, this is not woo-wah, this is see it, create that vision, however you want to do it, whether it's a mood board, whether it's written down, whether you're listening back to it, create that vision, and then you've got something to work towards that you can, and I get them to feel it, hear it, actually as if they could touch it. I get them to really, really see that vision so that they know where they're working towards.